Welcome to Live from Dennis's house, only on 474 The Mix, where the music matters. I'm your host, Dennis Morgillo, and each week we transport you back in time to a simpler time, to a happier time, when men were men and Bruce Jenner still wore pants. And you could call Potsy a nerd and you didn't have to worry about a discrimination lawsuit. When Keith Richards was still alive. Actually, he's still alive. Isn't he?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I can't believe I would make a Keith Richards joke. That's the first time ever, but it was in good fun. As you know, I love Keith Richards.
Yes,
Anyway,
I do.
so I'm going to transport you back to your parents' basement, your rec room, your attic, wherever you hung out as a kid in high school listening to your vinyl albums and having a lot of fun. So go dust off your vinyl albums and get ready for some fun memories. Today, we are spotlighting the 1971 classic album, Madman Across the Water by Elton John. All right, let's greet today's guest, George Becker. Hello, George.
How you
George.
doing? How you doing?
And we're going to meet the crew. We have Cha-Cha Ferriola, my co-host.
Hi.
We have Dee Dee Pye, the musical director and band leader.
Greetings.
And head writer Stephen Bello.
Woo!
Hi, folks.
So, all right, and as the normal flow of the show, we're going to start right off with the Man About Town segment.
I love that.
That's where I discuss everything I did the past week and all the excitement that was been going on. And this weekend, there was so much excitement going on that I couldn't even handle it. I had to just fold and shut down because there was festivals everywhere I looked. There was ones in Point Pleasant. There was some in Homedale, Colts Neck, and Clark. Everywhere you looked, there was a festival. So I did absolutely nothing because it was too much. I couldn't choose. But I did manage to go to the movies.
Right.
We actually went to the
Yes,
movies.
we did.
And we went to our favorite movie theater. There's this one small movie theater in Bradley Beach. It's called the Beach Cinema, and it's been there since 1920. And it's
Yes.
just that old-fashioned with the red velvet carpet on the walls. And it smells like actually one of these old vinyl albums,
like your
actually.
jacket,
Yes, and it
actually.
looks
Yeah.
like my jacket. Too bad you guys on radio can't see that. But we love going there. And the tickets are cheap, the popcorn cheap, everything for like $20. We both get everything we ever
Yeah.
wanted. And the best part is we're the youngest people there
Yes.
too. It's like everybody's like 90 going there, and they're all calling us, "Oh, you kids are out this late,
Oh,
by
can
yourselves."
I have your ticket, young lady?
Yes. So, and then the movie starts exactly on time, and there's one preview.
Right.
And that's it. And before that, they have this soundtrack that they must have found in the basement from like 1956.
Right.
And it's just instrumental music of like all old 50 songs and stuff. And it's just,
Very cool.
it's a lot of fun.
It's really
yes.
cool.
So anyway, the movie that we saw was called A Walk in the Woods
Yeah.
with Robert Redford and Nick Nolte. And I'm not sure what the point of the movie is or what it was about, but basically it was just a bunch of two old guys walking around in the woods on the Appalachian Trail.
Right. That was the point.
You know, and it could have been, it had a good premise that these two old guys go out into the woods and just hilarity would ensue, right?
Right.
But nothing funny really happened. It was just,
Yeah, it wasn't that good.
a bunch of nonsense.
I'm sorry.
But
it wasn't.
The
Nick-
worst part, as you're about to say, was Nick Nolte.
Oh.
The Nick Nolte is huge now, and he's swollen and sweating and growling. It's like a bear that they shaved a little and trained
really
to be in the movie. It was,
It was
so hard to
listen
watch,
and
right?
watch, yeah.
So
I feel bad because I loved it.
Yeah,
I
those-
really
those
did.
two guys,
48 hours.
back in the
Give me a
day,
break.
those guys were like sex
Yeah,
symbols too.
it's
Robert Redford, of course, was the best-looking man ever.
Sure.
And
they had to, in the movie, have a picture of him when he was young. Did you notice that? Like,
Yeah.
you had to be reminded of how gorgeous he was.
Hey,
He
I
didn't
used to be
walk
Robert
out.
Redford,
That's
you know?
right. So you didn't walk out.
So anyway, the movie gets a thumb down, but the theater gets a thumb up. So, all right. So now I also got some bad news this week too. That you've heard about the Who and Joan Jett.
Yeah.
They were doing
Yes.
a concert, right? And now my friend Rich, he is good friends with the bass player in Joan Jett's band. So I was scheduled to go and meet and greet with the Who and Joan Jett backstage, all access, all of this. And what happens? Roger Daltrey gets sick, and they cancel the tour and probably postpone. But you never know what's going to happen if they
Right.
come back in the spring or not. But that's the chances you have to take now that these rock stars are all getting old,
Right.
and they have the gout he had to cancel,
Yeah,
or
that's
God knows
right.
what.
They go
So-
on promptly at 6 now.
Yeah, right. So I'm going to be highly upset if I don't get the meet and greet with all these guys. But now maybe he'll watch my show and he won't
Maybe.
let me come because I made fun of him.
I don't
So-
think so. I think you'll be all right.
You don't think I have to worry about Roger Daltrey in his hospital bed watching this right now?
No, but this is the second time that this happened to you.
What was the first?
The first was Amy Winehouse.
Ah,
wow.
don't get me started on that. She really took it
She
to
really
extreme.
did,
Yeah, she ended
yeah.
up dying, so I couldn't see her.
my
Right.
Yeah. No, actually, she didn't die.
No, she went to
rehab.
rehab.
That was the ultimate. Her song was No, 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 I'm not going to
I
rehab.
won't go,
And-
go, go.
Bam, they convinced
You
her,
were
and
gonna
I
do-
missed it. That was,
I
get
don't
me
know.
started. It must be me. So, anyway, all right. Now, where were we? Oh, before
Sorry.
I mentioned about all these festivals going on. Now, I have a feeling that you guys back there went to these festivals. Am I correct?
I did. I went to the Clark one.
Yeah. You want to talk about that? Tell us how that was, what went on there?
There was a lot of people.
So the one in Clark.
It was a lot of people. It was difficult to get in and out of. Other than that, it was great. Slash was great. Skid Row was great.
Ah.
Wow, because I don't even know who was there. I just know that there was a lot of famous acts there.
There was some locals too. Edgar Casey, the band
wow.
Rawway, Faster Pussycat was there.
Oh, wow.
But to see them, you had to scatter yourself all over this multi-acre old
There's
golf
many
course.
different stages?
Yeah, there's 3 different stages.
Okay.
So everybody like ants going from one stage to the next. But so we caught like maybe 4 acts, 5 acts
Yeah.
out of 20.
Yeah,
So
there you
but
go.
it was good.
Yeah.
As long as I saw Slash and
Yeah, that's all that
yeah,
matters.
That's
Good.
cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really
and
cool.
Skid Row. Skid Row was great.
So what do you think about this? I heard rumors that Axl and Slash are now friends again, and they're going to go on tour and get the band back together.
Yeah, I believe that it's a little more than rumors, and I think it's going to be for just like a one-out tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see any future in that, but
No, even if they say there will be,
Yeah.
there will be not a
Right.
future because Axl's going to be a pain in the ass,
Right.
and Slash is going to
Right.
get fed up
it'll
and
last.
quit again.
It'll last
No.
3 shows, and somebody will kick somebody else.
Just like Van Halen, right?
Exactly. Fist fights,
Oh, this time David Lee Roth is back. We're going to tour the world. After
Right.
one show, they hate each other
Yeah.
so much, and
Right.
that's it, So, have Wolfie singing again.
Yes.
So, all right, Dee Dee, what about you? Were you at this other festival?
Cold Snack Rock Fest.
Yes.
That was at Bucks Mill Park, and it was all locals, local bands, the covers and originals, headlined by the Moroccan Sheepherders and the Matt O'Ree Band. Even without Matt, he's on tour with Bon Jovi, but the rest of the band was there, and they jammed with the other musicians and vocalists. They would close out the show, and there were some really good acoustic acts like Strawberry Pie. And Pepper Wine and Santa and the Arctic Blasters. And there was a really good band called Raise the Bar. They did like 80s rock covers, but they were fantastic. I think out of all the cover bands, they were my favorite.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Very nice.
good festival.
Well, there you go. All right. So now, Steven, what about you? Did you go to any festivals this weekend?
No, there was no festivals, and I babysat my dog, and I worked. That was my entire weekend.
There you go.
Exciting.
It
Wow.
wasn't
My
very
weekend was much
exciting.
better than that.
Yeah.
Is that why you talk to yourself when you're
I
out standing
did,
outside?
Didi caught me talking to myself outside, and it was a little embarrassing. I had no idea she was there.
He was preparing his speech. I hope your first child is a masculine child. Now, let's meet our guest, George Becker from the band Jaded Past.
How are you?
Welcome again, George. Now, I just want you to know, George, that the Pope was originally scheduled to be on this show, but I bumped him off to get you on here. So
That's the second time that happened to him.
All right. So I can either ask you questions or I can just give you 2 minutes to go and give us your whole life story, the Reader's Digest condensed version in 2 minutes.
Now you could ask me the questions.
I wasn't prepared for that.
I can tell you. I can tell you a lot.
All right. No, I'll ask you some questions and then you can go fill it in there. So
Okay.
first off, were you born in New Jersey?
Yes.
Born and raised in
Born and raised in New Jersey.
What part?
I was born in Elizabeth, New Jersey.
Wow.
Lived in Rahway most of my life.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it.
And then what made you get into music? I'm assuming you loved music. Who did you love the most and what was your biggest influences growing up?
When I was around 14 years old, I wandered into Loria Music in Rahway Clark border there. It was by my house. Befriended the owner, Joe Loria, who was very good friends with the whole Bon Jovi clan later on in that time. But I just got really turned on by that. I mean, I used to watch, you watch Don Kirshner's and the Midnight Special. And
That was great.
Wolfman Jack.
David Bowie and T-Rex, and then later on Kiss and Elton John and all the glammy rock stars, Rod Stewart, The Faces,
Nice.
The Who, The Stones, and I said, I'm going to do that. And then from that point on, I think I played my first live show when I was in 8th grade.
Awesome.
And then, get the attention going. I was a shy person back then, so, so that was a good way to change that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm still shy, though.
Yes, yes.
Ask anybody that knows me. That's
Yeah.
that.
So then tell us about like some of the bands that you were in growing up and work your way into.
Well, I was in a,
shaded bands.
obviously, you're in cover bands, you play whatever you can play. I was in a band called Rat Salad.
Let me guess. That sounds like Black Sabbath.
Yeah,
band.
but I didn't play. I played one Black Sabbath song, Paranoid. That was that. But that was my first actual professional band. I played my first club when I was a sophomore in high school, and then from that point, I started making money doing it. And then, from there, I went on to a band, Hex, and then I formed the original band, Wicked Sin. And we toured with bands like White Lion and Cinderella and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
And then personal things took a turn. Left music for a little while, and then got back into it with a couple other cover bands. If 6 Was 9, 10 Minute Lincoln, and then I formed Jaded Past and hooked up with Steve Brown from Trickster. He's my producer.
Oh, okay.
And recorded the first record, which did really well. That was 2 years ago. I don't have one on me, otherwise I'd show it. But it's we have a website, jadedpast.com, and it's on iTunes and YouTube and all of that. We tour. We did the latest tour we did was with Hookers and Blow with Dizzy Reed from Guns N' Roses.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
And that's it. And that's where we're at now. We're in pre-production for the new record.
Okay, so the new one, when's that supposed to be coming out?
We're gonna try for February. So it's spring. I'm just gonna label it the spring because if I say February, it doesn't come out till April.
I'll be
like the
calling you up.
Yeah, because there's it's not like yesteryear with the record companies doing anything. It's, it's all on our own.
Yeah. So then you got any touring coming up?
We're doing 2 shows for the rest of 2015. We're doing 2 Jersey shows. October 30th, which is a Mischief Night extravaganza type thing at the Cup in Linden, New Jersey. And then we're doing the Brighton Bar on November 20th. Again, it's a multi-band thing, but we're headlining both
that's
shows.
Nice. That's a fun place.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that place. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. Put that on the calendar.
You got it.
So
I'll
yes.
send you tickets.
Now, awesome.
Thank you.
Remember the guy with the red velvet jacket.
I'll give you free tickets if you leave that jacket home.
Leave it home or leave it on?
Leave it home.
Oh, snap.
I'm the only one that wants attention.
Wait till you see my other one because
Yeah,
it's been too warm
It's hot,
for those
yeah.
playing at home. It's been too warm, so I haven't been able to wear my Technicolor dream coat. But tonight it's got a little cooler, so I have it on. People on the radio can't see this, but it's a beautiful red velvet smoking jacket. So
Socially
wait till you see my
acceptable.
next Technicolor dream coat. It's even better than this one. It's coming up soon. So, all right. So I want to talk to you about these songs here, because I was checking out these songs on YouTube of yours, and I noticed that you have like 300,000 views on some of these songs.
Yeah, a lot of
That is
a lot of overseas views.
you better go
That's
start touring
amazing.
overseas.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Okay, so I guess this show is sponsoring my tour over in Japan. right?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Because
Wait, did you
so let's
just
start
say
in Brazil.
absolutely?
Well, it depends on some factors here. That because I'm in the running to be the new host of Sábado Gigante.
Yeah.
So when
Whippa.
I become huge in Brazil
I'll be right there.
and big in
There
Japan,
you go.
then that's it. The world will be my oyster. George, you coming with me. And then
You got it.
the show is going to be syndicated someday, and then I'm going to have my own thing. So then you can join forces with Dee Dee and be in the house band.
There you go. That works for me.
All
Booyah.
right, see? We got the whole future planned out. All right, now let's talk a bit about Elton John and Madman Across the Water. George, you want to start this off because you picked this, so
Sure.
you can tell us everything you know about this.
Well, the whole thing about this record that I like about it is Leave On. Leave on, leave on, leave on. I like Tiny Dancer, don't get me wrong, but the rest of the record is kind of dark for an Elton John record.
Yes, I agree.
But it does bring the band, the familiar band that he had going through all the 70s, and that's what makes the record special, because this is the first record that they all played on.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, Nigel and Davey and Ray, that and Dee, that they all played on this record, and that's what made it special. I think they could have had a lot more upbeat tunes on it, but that's the way it rolled out, you know.
Because this album came out in 1971, as I said, and it really is like it's kind of two separate albums. Side one is just amazing. It has Tiny Dance on it, Levon, or Levon, however you want to pronounce it, Razor Face, and Madman Across the Water. That's 4 classics, classic after classic. And then on the other side, it's kind of lackluster and, like you said, dark. And I don't know any of these songs. Nobody knows any of these songs, actually. I've never heard any of these songs on the radio. And I am the biggest fan of music in the world. So if I don't know these songs, nobody knows them.
I'm sure Elton and Bernie do.
So, but
I'm
I
sure he
believe-
takes offense to that. Too.
That's another one who won't be coming on the show now. Damn.
Or maybe he will come on the show.
Did you hear Elton was punked the
Elton
other
will
day?
come just to
Yeah.
get that jacket. Don't worry about it.
Elton was actually punked the other day by 2 guys from Russia who called him and pretended to be Putin from Russia, the president of Russia, and he fell for it, and he was talking to them, and he was trying to convince them about gay rights and all this stuff, and then they found out the truth later. So anyway, it's a classic album. It could be even better if side 2 was chock full of hits like this,
Right.
but what can you do? I'd be happy with one of these songs on my album, so I wouldn't complain. But now I want to talk a little about Elton and his whole career, because he was born Sir. Anybody know his real name?
Reginald Dwight.
There you go. Everybody knows that. Reginald Dwight. And like you said, he was the premier star of the 70s. He was everywhere from 1970, say, to 1976. He had over 50 top 40 songs, 7 #1 albums, and he was just everywhere, classics. And in those 6 years, he had 10 albums. Can you think about this? Putting out 10 albums in 6 years. And not just crappy albums, they were classics. You got Madman Across the Water, Caribou, Honky Chateau, Goodbye Elbick Road, a double album,
Right.
and Captain Fantastic. But it all dried up in 1976 after the release of Rock of the Westies. And that's when he fired Dee Murray and Nigel Olsson from the band. And he was under all these pressures and drugs, bulimia. He was hospitalized for exhaustion.
Put out an Island Girl.
Island Girl. I like that song.
Jump the shark with.
Right. But I think
Island
that was
Girl.
the last good thing that he ever did was Rock of the Westies. He had some hits on that. And then after that, I don't know what he did.
Kiki D.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Breaking
Yeah.
my
I
heart.
thought they
Don't
were
go
married.
breaking my heart.
Hey, you
You know
guys,
that rumor?
you want to do a quick version of that later? Don't Go Breaking My Heart?
I'm good.
Can you smell the album?
Maybe you and me, George, we can do a new version of Don't Go Breaking My Heart
Keep the jacket on.
Yeah.
for the new millennium.
With that jacket on, we know who's going to be Kiki, right?
That would be more like it, actually.
Yeah, so I want to talk about that, being hospitalized for exhaustion. Why you always hear about these stars are getting hospitalized for exhaustion. You know what I do when I'm exhausted? I go to sleep.
you go.
I don't need to go to the hospital.
Why?
I don't know. I get riled up about these things. But anyway, these two guys were amazing songwriters, Elton John and Bernie Taupin. And they were one of the true songwriting teams, I have to say. Because Paul McCartney and John Lennon never really wrote songs together. They were either wrote the song separately and helped out a little. But this was a true songwriting team. Elton wrote the music, Bernie wrote the lyrics.
True.
And I don't even know how many hit songs they have. Must be about 100. Let's go with that. Classics. But
I don't
anyway,
think it was 100.
at least. So, but I have to say that if Elton John would have died in 1976, there would be a statue to him on
Yes.
every corner.
Sure.
Because if you die in your prime, then that's it. You know, you can't have, the Lion King and all these other things that he did, he
It's
did
true.
do the Lion King.
It's true, because everyone makes fun of him now.
Yeah,
And it's
he's
sad
a parody of
because
himself,
He was fantastic. I love him.
George looks like he wants to say something here.
They
Step
could,
in.
They could pay me to be a parody of myself.
Oh, absolutely. He's,
I'll write the Lion King too.
Imagine how much money he must have made from the Lion
Exactly,
King. My
exactly.
God.
It's a great. It's
It was
great.
a good song. It was a great
really.
song, of course. I'd be happy to write that. But anyway, so what do you think happens to people like this? This is what I'm always curious about. The two greatest songwriters of all time, arguably. Then it comes from 1970 to 1976. They write 100 amazing songs, and then all of a sudden, bam, they can't really write any more good songs. Do you think that God just gives you 100 songs and say, here, you have 100 songs, use them wisely? Or does they get fat and old and complacent and not physically fat, but just, rich?
The hunger and the
yeah,
passion.
exactly.
That's
So
why.
what?
Oh, I see.
The struggle is gone.
Right, exactly. It's hard to be creative when you're sitting in a mansion somewhere, as opposed to when you're on the street. So, what do you guys think of that?
Subject matter, when you're coming up the ladder, subject matter is a lot different. When you're struggling to get to a certain point, that's what you write about. I know that for a fact. I've been writing for the same things for the next 30 years. But
You have a really good story. I just have a feeling you have a really good story somewhere that we're just not getting to.
Yeah, George, we're getting
Yeah.
back to you.
you have to,
It's-
you have
can
to
think-
buy the next Jaded Pass record, and you'll hear the story.
Okay. All right.
You got any road stories you want to talk about? You want me to cover Judy's
Girlfriend.
ears and you
Yeah.
talk about some groupie stories? She can't hear way over there in the audience. Did
No, I don't.
you ever kill anyone?
No, not yet.
No.
Show's not over yet. All right, so we're to that point in the show now where we smell the album. This is a tradition
yay.
on the show, and we all smell
This
the
is
album.
a serious thing.
Yes.
Oh, this is serious. And when you
Serious.
get this, you'll realize why. That is one of the best ones we've
Is this
ever
on-
had.
This is on the TV.
This is on TV and radio. Smell-o-vision.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
See? Check that out, George.
It smells like
You know you're
6th
gonna-
grade.
Ah, look at it.
Actually, it smells like kindergarten.
He went back 3 times. See? Now, doesn't that take you back to high school right there?
Yeah, that's a powerful one.
Your parents' basement, or where'd you used to hang out as a kid listening to your albums?
Me?
Yeah.
In my room.
There you go. Now you could back in that room right now with your
Black light. And the,
yeah, right. Your Farrah
Shag
Fawcett
carpet.
poster.
I did have that. Wonder Woman and Farrah Fawcett.
Awesome.
Who didn't?
One of the first 45s my father ever bought me was Philadelphia Freedom.
Wow.
I came home one night.
I like that
and-
song.
Yeah.
1976. I'm gonna
Yes,
yeah.
very good. You know who that was written about? Anyone?
Never thought about it.
Billie Jean King.
Wow. there you go.
In fact, yes,
That
good
was,
friend of him.
The women's rights days.
Yes.
Yeah,
Really?
that's right. Wow.
Yes. Whatever happened to that? Remember when it was a big thing, women wanted to be called Ms. MS, period?
Yeah.
Nobody goes by that anymore. They don't
Yeah.
say, oh, hi, Mrs. Johnson, and they'll say, no, call me Ms.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
People died for that Ms. And now everyone's just like taking it for granted like it never happened.
Yeah.
Sons of bitches. All right. Anyway. Oh, so smelling this album makes me think, what do you think Elton John smells like? That you think it's good or bad? I'm thinking he's very perfumed and powdered.
Yes, I
actually. Smells good, you know?
We'll go with that.
I'm thinking
We'll
Chantilly.
just go with that.
Chantilly.
I don't even know what that is. What's that? Perfume?
Yes.
Okay. See? All right. Now let's talk about what's happening in the world. Here's a good news story that you guys are going to love. Where's my news story? Oh, here it is. No need to panic. All right. So this another sign that the world's going crazy. And I'm going to read you this story now. So TSA agents flagged this woman. I can't say if her name is Shady or Shoddy Patowski as she rushed to her flight to Minneapolis Monday night due to an anomaly that appeared in her full body scan calibrated for a woman. And she says, "That's no anomaly, that's my penis." She bluntly told a male TSA agent, explaining that she was transgender. So the awkward conversation brought Patowski to tears as additional agents questioned her gender and pulled her aside for a 40-minute pat-down.
Oh.
Wow. I once had a 40-minute pat-down. Best day of my life. And then they inspected her for explosive materials, and it resulted in a missed flight to Minneapolis. Dozens of tweets and a handful of tearful selfies documented the television producer's ordeal, attracting the attention of transgender activists, American airline representatives, and TSA officials.
Oh, boy.
"I'm embarrassed about it," Patowski told the Daily News from a hotel in Miami. The TSA agent reportedly asked her to go back through the scanner under the male calibration, but she refused and then declined to say whether she was a man or a woman. "It's just a coincidence that I got a pat down for my genitals. Then I had the worst agent, and then I tested positive for explosives," Patowski added. How do you test positive for explosives? That must be some anomaly she's got in her
A
pants.
stick of dynamite?
So she reportedly asked the TSA agents if they were properly trained with a transgender policy, but heard only one response: "I know what I'm doing."
Oh.
So there you have it. So a woman with a penis is no longer an anomaly in our world. It's a normal thing and should be ushered right through security.
Here's the thing.
Uh-oh.
If you're a
This
woman,
is getting us thrown off. Go ahead.
if you're a woman, you don't have a penis.
Yes, exactly.
I'm sorry. I mean,
That's true.
You don't.
Where you going with this?
You're going in the male line. That's where you're going.
I don't know.
That's it. I'm
That's
sorry if that's politically incorrect, but until you have that taken care of, you're still a man.
It's a sick, sad world we're living in, but we're all part
I'm sorry,
of it.
but we can't make allowances for everything.
So,
We just can't.
all right. Well, we're going to move on now. Now we're going to talk about some celebrity deaths that happened this past week.
Oh,
Jack Larson died. Does anybody know who Jack Larson died? Who he was?
I did.
He was Jimmy Olsen from the TV show Superman,
Oh, yeah.
the Cub reporter.
Wow.
And he was actually gay as well. And he was one of the first to come out many years ago.
Wow.
He was married to Montgomery Clift for many years. He was a famous actor as well.
Yeah.
So, and of course, Yogi Berra passed away, the great Yankee, the last of the true great Yankees.
That's really
He'll be
sad.
very missed. Yes.
Yeah.
So, now that's it for the news, and we're going to go to our new segment now. It's called Word on the Street with Cha-Cha Barrett, our new gossip columnist.
I'm Barrett now?
Yes, like Rona Barrett was the gossip
I
columnist, so I'm
like
going to call
it, I
you
like
Cha-Cha
it.
Barrett.
I'm good.
For just that segment.
Okay.
So what do you got, Cha-Cha?
Well, the first thing I have is, and you'll find this very interesting, they interviewed Smokey Robinson. You
Okay.
know who he is. And
Yes.
he said he gave Justin Bieber permission to cover any song he ever wrote.
Wow.
Yep.
You can do
He
that?
did that on TMZ.
Oh,
He did.
Wow.
He did. People.
I would like
it's like
that.
a nightmare.
Yeah, he said he could do any song. He could cover any song he wanted of his.
All right.
Wow.
George, I'm giving you the same permission right now. You can cover anything you want by any
Smokey
artist.
Robinson?
Elton John.
Okay. I do it anyway.
And then, as we know, the Pope is now here.
Yes,
in the
the
United
Pope is
States.
in town.
It's
Traffic.
very exciting.
Yes.
Anybody going to New York City this week? The Pope
Not
is
a
in New York
chance.
City.
Nope, not a chance.
I wouldn't go anywhere near that place.
No, because so much is going on in the city this week.
You know what I did hear, though? That the Pope, he came out against capitalism. But since he got to the United States, he saw the huge selection of Oreos that we have here, and he changed his mind immediately.
Oh,
You stole my story. No. And I know that you don't really like this guy, but Ben Affleck and Jennifer Gardner were spotted having a romantic dinner together.
Aren't they
without
married?
their children. Well, they
Weren't
were
they breaking up?
And then they're separated, and now they might. There's rumored that they might be getting back together.
I like that. I like to hear that.
Yeah.
I heard that
that's nice when
Affleck
you have
was
kids.
shaving his Adam's apple down, though. So I don't know about that. What that means? Go ahead.
Well, no.
Is that it? That's the
Yes,
end of the
that's
story
it.
now?
Yeah.
All right, so then we're going to go to our next segment, the musical girl,
The music girl.
our music reporter.
you have a name for me?
We don't have a name for your segment yet, but
We'll figure
here's,
it out.
here's Dee Dee Pie with the music news.
Well, I like to follow local artists, and I like to go to venues that support original music. So I went to the Saint last night in Asbury Park, and I was all by myself sitting at the bar. There was nobody there but the bartender, the sound girl, the owner, and me. And so I was, having my Jack and my ginger and chilling. And I got to hear the sound check, and the artists were Colton Kaiser, who is a kid from New Jersey, who actually I never heard of him. He's a fantastic acoustic artist, and he's won a lot of Asbury Music Awards for best singer and best record and best song and all kinds of best new artist. Ton of awards. And then the headliner was Charlie Mars, who is from Mississippi. And he's got a new album called The Money, and it's got some really cool stuff. And it was just, Tuesday nights at the Saint is acoustic night. They have seating. They ask you to, it's not like talking and drinking and being loud. It's like almost like a little theater setting. And it's just really nice, out and about. So Colton Kaiser, being a local kid, he was really great. He's going to be playing at Langosta Lounge on Thursday, opening for Pat Denizio. So if you want to catch him and you want to catch Pat Denizio doing his usual Thursday night shows, it's going to be a good night in Asbury Park.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Dee Dee. Good job.
Well, thank you.
Now, we are running out of time here, so let's get back to George and what else George would like to talk about. You want to talk more about Elton, more about yourself, or anything you want to talk about?
I always like to talk about myself. What do you want me to talk about? I'm here,
What else? You got any questions? Anybody else got some more
I gotta
questions?
say, I saw George covering Daniel, Elton John. Unbelievable.
Really?
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Really,
Because,
really
yes, he's going to
blew
be
me away.
covering Levon, or how do you pronounce it, George? Levon?
Levon.
Leave on.
Leave on.
Leave on.
It's easy when you sing it, but when you have to
Yeah.
say it,
I guess so.
because I keep thinking
See it
about
in writing.
Levon Helm and
That wasn't that supposed to be named after him?
I don't.
There's some story
I
that
don't know. Maybe he's the only
it
one
was
I
a
ever-
fictional character in the song, and they just used his name, named the character after Levon. Yeah.
Sure, that sounds
to
good as
Google
any.
that.
Yes.
See, that's what your role is supposed to be, Steven. You're supposed to have your computer ready when a guest needs something Googled. You're the man on the scene.
I don't even
Bam.
get 3G down there. The studio is way underground, bro.
Yeah, this studio is called the Bunker. So there you go. So, all right. Well, we are out of time. Thanks, George, for coming on, and thanks for joining us here on Live from Dennis's House, only on 474 The Mix, where the music matters. See you next week when I'll be doing another classic album and behaving badly. Like me on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, whatever you want. Check out my new website, DennisMorgillo.com. Remember, the radio show airs Friday at 5 p.m. and it repeats Sundays at 11 a.m. TV show airs Sunday at 9 a.m. All social media, DennisMorgillo.com. Easy like Sunday morning. That's what I am.